Welcome to Eve's Gardeners. My name is Leia, and together I want to get into what it really means to believe in God. Join me in the garden every week to discuss different topics within the Torah, the world's first Bible and my personal favorite subject. Follow along to hear from unique perspectives as well as Torah experts I've had the privilege to learn from. Get ready to dive into the coolest and deepest topics on earth. Jared Firestone, welcome to the garden.
Thanks for having me.
Or should I say Olympic champion? That was like my favorite part of your speech when you said that.
I still feel weird about being called Olympic champion, but it's a good thought exercise.
Hasn't hit you yet. We'll give you guys some backstories if you guys are like, what the heck are you talking about? But that was my favorite part of your speech on Shabbat when you mentioned that about the rabbi like calling you that for so many years until like it happened. Okay, basically just to give you guys a little bit of backstory before we dive in. So I actually know Jared for a long time. Our families are very close. We grew up in like same community and stuff. And how many years ago was it when you like started this whole journey?
I've been at Skeleton for 10 years.
Okay, so wow, that's long.
Long time. 20 years of chasing
I didn't realize it was that long. Okay, so 10 years ago, he decided he's going to be an Olympic champion.
Right. And, to clarify, I was not the gold medalist at the Olympics, but I'm Olympic champion in terms of, I guess.
You're a champion in our eyes.
Right.
Anyway, so you had this dream to be part of the Olympics, and you've been pursuing that for 10 years, and you finally accomplished that dream. Just a few months ago. How long ago was that?
I raced about 5 weeks ago.
5 weeks ago. Wow, that's really recent. So you gave like a whole speech last week at our shul. We spent Shabbat by my parents, and we didn't even know that you were speaking, which was like great that it worked out that we got to hear you speak.
You came to see me.
Well, no, my parents didn't really tell us. Like we were just like I just wanted to go, and it worked. I was like, how did we know about this? But literally you got the whole entire shul to show up. Like I don't think I've ever seen the shul that full because we all just were, cheering you on. And I don't know, you spoke really, really beautifully. And my favorite part of your speech was when you said how whenever the rabbi would like introduce you to speak or whatever it was, then he would always introduce you as like Olympic champion, like far before you were ever like even in like at this state, Yeah. And I just love that because it's like I'm a big believer in like just saying things over and over again until they're true, and like just being delusional, like saying things over and over again, and like that affects your reality eventually. So like the rabbi calling you an Olympic champion, like eventually like you really ended up in the Olympics, and I don't know, it's cool. It's like manifestation.
Yeah, maybe what I was saying then is that when I would get called up, say for an aliyah during high holidays, the rabbi would introduce me as the our Olympic champion.
It's so cute.
And I was very careful at the time while fundraising and just how other athletes perceive you to make sure I said Olympic hopeful, which is the word for somebody who hasn't been an Olympian yet and is aiming for it. But when he would do it, obviously you're not going to correct the rabbi on high holidays. So I would obviously he would say it, and it would actually give me a cool opportunity to kind of sit with it and think about what it would feel like to be Olympic champion. And I think it was definitely part of making that idea manifest.
Yeah, like put it in your head, like I am an Olympic champion.
Exactly.
I'm going to do this.
That's how you got to think.
Okay, so I want to do a little bit, before we get into your story, I want to do a little bit of Jewish geography, because I always start my shows like that. We just like talk about where you're from and, how you grew up sort of thing. It's so funny. I don't know if you saw when you finally like were on TV and stuff, like I posted your video and I was just like, this kid used to teach me algebra, tutor me in algebra. And like, here he is at the Olympics. Like it was so like surreal seeing it as someone that like knows who you are. Is just so crazy that like, it really puts it in perspective, like anything is possible. And that's kind of like the story I want to share today. But before we do that, let's get into, where you came from, how you grew up, sort of thing. So
okay. Take it away. I was born in Miami. I grew up in Aventura and Hollywood, Florida. Went to Shek Hillel through 8th grade. That's a Jewish day school in North Miami Beach. Yeah. And then went to Pinecrest in Fort Lauderdale, ended up running track at Tulane University in New Orleans, and then like any good Jewish boy went to law school after that at Cardozo, which is Yeshiva University's law school in New York City.
Okay, cool. And so like religious wise, how did you guys grow up?
I would say traditional, doing Shabbats pretty much every Friday. Sometimes the house was kosher, sometimes it wasn't, depending on the day.
Very Jewish.
Exactly. Yeah. So definitely very culturally connected.
Yeah.
Religiously, I would say it varied depending on the day.
Yeah. I feel like that's a very common theme in Miami. I definitely could relate to that. But what was interesting to me, like from this whole Olympic experience of yours is that you chose to like go and compete for the Israel team, and I'm wondering like where that, because you started off like racing for the U.S. team, correct?
Yeah, I started skeleton through the U.S. development program.
Okay. And then you decided to like change into Israel, which I always thought was like fascinating to me because you didn't like you went to Hillel, you said, but you went to Pinecrest for like,
Mm.
most of your like older years and stuff. And like where did that like huge passion for Israel come from?
So I think that actually getting out of the Jewish day school and getting thrown. I mean, Pinecrest is still like
Yeah.
40% Jewish. So it's not like I went to, yeah,
I'm saying
where I
it's
was
not
the
like
only
very
Jew.
Zionistic school. Like I
Right, right. But they're not
would
teaching you that stuff
Yeah.
there. It's neutral. But I think going into those environments, running track at Tulane, I wasn't really as much involved with the Jewish scene, like the Jewish frats or anything. I was more with my teammates, and it gave me the opportunity to feel like I was representing, like I was being released from the Jewish day school and into the real world, and it was kind of my duty to represent the Jewish people, especially to the non-Jews. So I think that's where I started feeling comfortable with that concept.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Like when you're in an environment where you're like the outsider, it kind of makes you like see your Jewishness more.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that could happen.
That's so cool. And then, so wait, can you just tell everyone like what skeleton is? Like just
Okay,
to bring everyone, because I feel
so
like people might be
skeleton
confused.
Skeleton is similar to bobsled, which is the more famous cousin of skeleton. And basically, as an athlete, you push a sled. It's a flat, almost lunch tray looking sled. You sprint with it about 30 meters. You jump on, and then you navigate down a ice course about 85 miles an hour, depending on the track.
That's
6 G's of
insane.
force on you. Yeah, so it's basically like being on a roller coaster or even a fighter jet
But you're
for
like controlling.
yeah, you're steering the best you can. It's not like we don't have full control. Like there's no real steering mechanism. We're just putting pressure with our body into the sled or
Wow.
making little adjustments with our head or feet to change the direction. And yeah, the run lasts about a minute, and that's it. It's been an Olympic sport since 2002.
That's so wild. And like from all the sports, like what made you like decide like, okay, I'm gonna pursue this, like even being from Miami, like this winter sport, like what encouraged you to start this?
Yeah, so I wanted to be a Olympian in track and field before that. So I was a 100-meter
Did you
sprinter.
just want to be like an Olympian?
That was the goal. So I was playing golf
Okay.
and tennis as a kid. That was what my parents wanted me to do. And then once I decided I wanted to be an Olympian for Israel, which happened around 2005, I knew I was a fast runner. So I thought obviously track was a better way to get into that Olympic scene. So that's when I started running track, and I did that through college. And
But
then,
like what
yeah.
made you want to be an Olympian? Like it's not like usually like, kids are like taught from like a young age, or like their Russian parents are like forcing them into like these training camps
Right.
like from a, like you just like decided you wanted to do this like once you got older, like why?
Uh, yeah, the main thing was seeing the movie Munich, which is Steven Spielberg's movie talking about what happened in 1972 Olympics when 11 Israeli athletes and coaches were taken hostage and killed by Palestinian terrorists. And from that moment, I thought it would be such an important mission to make the Olympics specifically for Israel, just as a statement that these type of acts to keep us out of the global scene and to
That's
ostracize
incredible.
us aren't going to work, and also to honor the victims, of course, while doing that.
Wow, that's really cool. What were they athletes for? Like was it any specific sport, or was it like all the Israeli athletes?
It was a part of the delegation that was staying in one part of the Olympic Village. It was a
Wow.
mix.
Okay, I have to watch
Yeah,
that movie. That's
yeah,
so like crazy that that happened.
hmm
Wow, that's really cool that that's like what pushed you to do this.
yeah, yeah. Definitely, that was the starting point.
Okay, so go on. You said you were attempting at track and field because you were
Right.
fast.
Yeah. So as a fast runner, a 100-meter district champion in Broward County, and then went ran a 2 lane, and I was trying to make Aliyah at the time to run for Israel. It was 2000. This was between 2008 2012. Communication was a little tougher then. I don't
Like
think
you didn't speak Hebrew at all.
so I didn't speak Hebrew. The track coach didn't speak great English. I don't think either of us had WhatsApp was a thing yet. So I was calling like long distance when we would talk, and it was just so hard to coordinate. And it just ended up kind of falling through. And obviously, just yeah, I was busy with school and then applying for law
How
school.
old were
And
you at that time?
so this is between 18 and 22 where this is
Okay.
happening. And then I would say by the time I graduated, it wasn't really on my radar anymore.
Okay, so you kind of just like were like whatever, like screw this Olympic thing.
Yeah, I just thought it was done. My track career ended. I think I definitely thought that was my last athletic venture at the time. Uh, Took some time off. I think that's when I was tutoring you and
Maybe.
others, and eventually went on my birthright trip. And I thought it would be kind of cool to represent this country based on my experiences there. Why don't I put that back in my mind? But then started law school like right after that. Got busy studying. Said I would get to training, and then it kind of took like a big health scare to push me back fully into it.
What do you mean by that?
So I had a mini stroke during my first semester of law school.
Oh, this was like unrelated to you training or anything like in the Olympics?
Yeah, nothing. I
Oh,
was I wasn't
wow.
even training at the time. I was just focused
You
on
just
one
being a
year of law
lawyer.
school. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
crazy.
And after that, when kind of everything was almost taken away from me, I finally resolved. I was like, all right, now we're getting back to it. And
Nothing like a
once
stroke to make you want to skate
exactly a
down a
little,
mountain.
yeah, just a little nudge.
That's
Uh,
crazy. But
yeah,
why? Like, how does that even, like, you were just like, I survived this, so I got to go do what I got to do my dream, fulfill my dreams.
yeah. Because at first they told me no working out, maybe ever,
Wow.
and to hear that and then think about what a shame it would be if I had the chance not to do it, just yeah, made me want to jump back
And then,
into it.
so where did the idea for like this sport specifically come into your?
Right. So right after that, during this time where I'm recovering, uh, I just started training again, and then I see skeleton on TV, and as I described, you get a running start
But you were training just like in general, like
as a track athlete again.
as a track athlete. Okay.
Yeah, and then because skeleton involves the running start and jumping on, I thought maybe there's an opportunity for some translation of skill here, which is true. There's a lot more to it than just being fast.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you're pushing a sled bent over, which is a whole new skill, but being fast does help.
Yeah, it's a huge like part of it now,
It's a big part of it,
like the
and
start.
then you still got to learn how to go 80 miles an hour on a sheet of ice and be comfortable with that and do it well. But that was for later. So at this point, I'm like, that's the sport I'm gonna do.
Wow, that's so
Yeah.
cool. It's so crazy because a lot of times people will do something and like let's say like fail at it and like this is like the biggest lesson of like failure being like the biggest push and like the biggest part of your like of anyone's journey because like someone could look at that situation and be negative and be like, oh, like he failed at this whole track thing, and then it was kind of like pointless. I wasted so much time on it. I wasted so much energy on it. But now, like a few years later, like all the pieces come back together, and you're like, oh, I needed to like practice running at this stage to like now this is a part of this new sport that I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like the pieces all come together at some point.
Yeah, pretty much everything that's happened to me the last 20 years, like I always felt, whether it was good or bad, it was like there was a purpose behind it, and it was leading to that ultimate moment, which was making the Olympics and where I'm at now. But yeah, the biggest one was like getting into track just catalyzed this entire thing.
Yeah, it's so cool. No, because a lot of people are not like fortunate enough to see all those pieces like coming together in their lifetime or like even like in this short span of time. It's just like bad things happen to you or like failure comes and you have no explanation for it and you just kind of like feel horrible about it.
Mm,
But it's cool that you got to see like why those things needed to happen in order for this next change to happen.
exactly.
Everything happens for a reason, guys.
It's true.
Okay, so you started skeleton. You were initially like were you initially with why did you decide to do the US team like at first then? Because if you knew you wanted to go to Israel, like did Israel not have a skeleton team or something like that?
Right. So there were athletes competing, but there was no infrastructure. And so I was in New York City at the time in law school, and Lake Placid, New York, is where Team USA is based.
Oh, cool.
So that's when I saw the sport. And I googled it. I saw USA bobsled skeleton had a tryout upstate. So
Oh,
that's
God
where.
really put you where you need to
Yeah,
be. It's
exactly.
crazy.
Right. Yeah, because I there's so many things. Like I almost went to law school here in University of Miami, and
So many little pieces, yeah.
right. So this probably wouldn't have happened if I did that. But yeah, I just drove up and went to this tryout. They liked me, and I spoke to AJ Edelman, who was doing skeleton for Israel at the time. Now he does bobsled, and he told me just stick in the U.S. program as long as you can because the resources and the access to facilities, the coaching, everything's so much better. And for me personally, I didn't want to be going through that struggle time of learning a sport while representing Israel and having the flag in the rankings lower than I would want it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was patient, bided my time, and then when I felt like I was ready, I made the switch.
It's so cool. Have you heard of the term like hashgacha pratit? Have people like
Um,
told you that?
no, what is it?
It's basically exactly what you're describing. Like it technically like the literal translation is divine intervention.
Hmm.
And it's just like the idea that like God is like kind of like moving everything in the pieces of like where it needs to be exactly when and what like needs to happen for like, you know, what the grand scheme is supposed
Right.
to happen for your life. And it's like so similar to what you're describing, like being in this specific law school, like turning down law schools here, joining the American team, coming across this guy like
Yeah.
that told you, like gave you this advice, like every little piece had to happen for you to get
There
to
were literally probably like 10,000 incidents I could go
exactly,
through
yeah.
that led me that like, but for one thing, like even bad things like missing flights or
Yeah, for sure.
injuries.
Like there's so many
Yeah.
things that happen that are beyond our control or we don't understand, and it's
Mhm.
like it's all for a reason. And like we're talking about it in such a extreme thing, like such an extreme like situation for you of like getting to such a like dream of yours, but this happens all day every day to like even the average person, you know, in your life. Like, you know, just because you're not like winning Olympic medals and stuff, like you're still like Hashem is divinely like intervening in your life constantly, and like every little decision, every single like circumstance that you're in is for a reason. I don't know, I truly believe
Yeah,
that.
and I think you gotta notice those things and like figure what lesson. So like last summer, I went to to Universal with my family for a day, and I might have had a couple beers. And the next training session, I strained one of my calves, and it became
Oh
a
no.
nagging injury all season, or it's all off season. But like the lesson from that, I was like, all right, this is meant to happen now because it's saving me from this injury happening later. What's the lesson? No more beers. So I just cut out alcohol for 8 months, and definitely
Yeah,
might have
that's
saved an
definitely
injury
the
later.
trick, is to see it, to like be
Yeah.
able to notice it for sure and like open your eyes to that. Okay, so how did you even get into the American program? Like having no experience in the sport. Like did you like practice the sport and then go in? Like what was like the steps before going there?
Yeah, so they're just looking for raw talent. So there's not a lot of expectations when you first get on the sled. You're just there's like a massive learning curve. So they're looking at kind of that base talent, meaning like, are you a fast runner basically and strong? And the main thing I would say is, do you have the courage to do it?
Like the fear aspect.
Yeah, like most people back out even the first day after taking those first runs, and they're not even from the top. You're going like half speed from halfway,
Oh my
or
God,
at
that's
least
terrifying.
yeah, at least by the end of the week, most people just don't come back. So it's a combination of having that the physical aspects, being able to not be too fearful, and then also understanding what the financial implications are about to be and whether you're willing to accept that.
Were you like always like a fearless person? Like what?
Not really. I'm scared of heights
Like so how are
on
you
a
not
roller
scared of doing
coaster.
this?
I am scared actually. I was scared most of the time, and then eventually that would go away depending on the track.
Okay.
But just my purpose was so strong that like there was no way I was ever gonna turn back or not do it.
Like
Yeah.
could you like die at doing this?
I guess you could. It's unlikely. You could, I guess,
Sorry to
break
be
your
negative.
neck or something, but concussions are probably the main
Okay, fine. So
risk.
it's like
Yeah.
more like injury. Okay. But still, it's like you're literally going 80 miles an hour, like
Yeah.
just with
Concussions,
you in a sled.
broken ankles, collarbones,
Yeah, let's get into that because
wrists.
that's literally my
Yeah.
next question is what are like some of the biggest obstacles that you've come across in achieving this goal?
Well, so many off the track and on the track, both. The main thing was maybe not the main thing, but one of the biggest things that kind of occupied the most space for me was the financial aspect.
Okay.
To have a proper season, I mean, you have guys from other countries, and let's say the value of what they're getting is $300,000. And for me, I was doing these seasons, raising like 20,000 and maybe having 20,000 of my own before my bank account went to zero, and just
This
figuring
was
out.
once you joined the Israel team.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like when you were if you were to stay in the American team, like would you have had to do all this funding?
No. Right.
Okay.
You have so having a coach with me was probably the main expense, and I honestly didn't have a coach of the 7 years I was with Israel. I think I didn't have a coach for those years. I just
Wow.
coached myself, um, or just like found people a week at a time. So yeah, financial was probably the biggest obstacle, and coming up with the money and with what I had, just budgeting and like how to with this goal in mind of eventually making the Olympics, like how each dollar could be spent the most effectively to further that. So I would say that was the main thing. And then of course just like yeah, getting better at the sport and physically just overcoming is such a long list of injuries. So dealing with all that.
And okay, so when you decided, like, was there any a point where you were already like on the American team thinking like, why would I now switch to Israel? Like, why not just like stay here? Like, it's so much easier. I wouldn't have to like take on all
Hmm.
this other extra work of
Um,
funding and getting coaches and
right. No, I was ready for that. It was sort of the mission. I wouldn't have been doing the sport if it wasn't for the opportunity to slide for Israel.
Like that was the reason, like
That
just
was
to
the
slide
reason I
for
was
Israel, to be in the
there.
Israel team.
Right. Like maybe the
Okay.
first week I went to try it, it was a little out of curiosity because I still wanted to run track for Israel, and it was almost a challenge to myself. Like, am I in good enough shape to be a part of this too, if I wanted to? But then once I committed to it, it was just like, yeah, I'm gonna do this for Israel one day. So that was always the plan.
That's so cool. Wow. Okay, and then so was there any like ever a time when you were like going through all these obstacles, financial, physical, that you were like, maybe I should just stop?
There were a few moments where like I didn't quite tell myself I should stop, but I sort of was okay with it,
Like
um,
accepting it?
accepting it. So after I missed the Olympics in 2022, just barely, and then I started working, opening my own law firm, and I was like finally making money again, and got my own place and moved down to South Beach. And I came back the next season just to win a race for Israel because I was so close the year before, and I thought it'd be really cool to hear Hatikva playing at a winter sport event. Uh, so I did that, and then my plan was to do one more race the next week, and I ended up tearing my bicep. So now I'm recovering from this for 6 months. I basically didn't slide that season except for a couple of weeks. So I'm figuring I'm getting behind the other athletes I'm
Yeah.
competing with. And yeah, I was pretty comfortable here. So definitely, I wouldn't say it crossed my mind to stop, but it also wasn't crossing my mind to continue.
Hmm.
And that was until October 7th happened. And then that again was another event that
Another
created that
spark. Yeah.
urgency. Yeah.
Wow, that's so crazy. So October 7th happens and you're like, let's get back into it.
Yeah. I'm just like, how can I felt a little helpless. And it was like, what can I do to kind of play my role here? And for me specifically, I'm the only person in the world that could do this little thing, which is to be representing Israel, having access to the athletes, coaches, the fans, everybody involved with the sport, and everybody I come across in my travels, and to be a positive representative for Israel in that was kind of the mission, the new mission I took on there.
Yeah. Wow, that's so cool. And like how was the response from people around you? Like were like your friends, family, like were they like always like super supportive of this? Or were they times where they were like telling you to stop?
It was hard at first to get them to understand. Once I switched to Israel, they were a little more enthusiastic
Okay.
because yeah, the kind of it became clear what the purpose was for them. And yeah, as I went on, they while feeling like I was getting older and I should maybe move on, especially after I missed 2022, I think they thought I was going to stop. They were pretty supportive, and yeah, by the end they were pretty rabid about it. They were very pushing me pretty hard. My mom, especially, got very aggressive about being
Turned full soccer mom.
full soccer mom. Yeah,
I
just
could
like
see her.
giving me pep talks and stuff. Yeah.
That's so cute. Yeah, I mean, that's also like a lesson in and of itself. Like, a lot of people nowadays, like I know in the social media world, it's a very popular thing of people like trying to get started on social media, and at first they feel like so cringe and like
Hmm.
everyone's like making fun of them, maybe, or like I don't know, like just you don't like until you make it, it's so hard to like just get over all of that stress of like outside people's opinions and what is everyone gonna think and what's my
Yeah.
family gonna think, and then like you know you, when you make it, it's no longer cringe. It's like
It makes sense to everyone, like, why you were doing it.
yeah.
So you do need to kinda have that mindset of that you made it before you do.
Yeah, you need to, like,
Yeah,
be delusional in yourself, like, in your own dreams, like, to really, like, overcome and override all that heat.
exactly. Yeah, going back to the Olympic champion thing, like, I needed to have that mindset that I was an Olympic champion to, like, push through all of this
Yeah.
and to, yeah, be felt like people, accepted sort of my, like, position on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could feel the kind of, share the dream with me.
yeah, no, it's so cool that to be, like, on the other side of it
Yeah.
now. And then so once like, you have were you able to, like, continue being a lawyer and pursue this at the same time, or, like, one of them had to be on hold, like, while you were doing the other one? Like, how did you juggle that?
Yeah, so I would say there were sacrifices to both things, unfortunately, most years. And it would depend what the urgency was. If it was money, then there'd be sacrifice to skeleton. And when I say money, it's like money that I could use for skeleton. But I would have to. I'm like, well, I can't. I could go train now in the summer, but then I won't have any money to actually do the sport. So
Right.
that was yeah, a big consideration always. And this year, luckily, I had it was the most funding I had, so I was able to just cover all my expenses. And by the time the season started, I was able to focus 100% on skeleton. And honestly, it sounds crazy, but probably the biggest jump for me in terms of year to year skill gain was this year. So year 9 to 10, this was like the biggest improvement I made, and it was just because
Wow.
I only had to focus on
It's
skeleton.
like the opposite of an overnight success. Like
Yeah,
it's like the
right.
last year.
The last year, and it like all came together, and it
It's
was just from
crazy.
not having to like have the spend the brain with on being a lawyer at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that like just the separating the minds of the two. Like for me, it like reminds me of like being a mom and working. It's like so hard when your kids at home and
Yeah,
like trying to work at the same time that they're home and like also like not be the worst mom ever.
right. Exactly. It's
It's like
just
just splitting your brain in those two things is like hard enough. So
yeah, they don't really help each other that much. People ask to
yeah.
go and being a lawyer help you with skeleton. It's like not really. I guess like
Doesn't really have to do with it.
yeah.
Going back to like the doubts from people and stuff, because I want like people to hear from you, like what's some advice that you can give our listeners about if they're like trying to accomplish something and all their family and friends are like, what are you doing? Like maybe you should stop. And like they don't exactly have the support from anyone but themselves. Like what
hmm
advice would you give them?
yeah, I would say you just gotta basically know that until you prove the concept, it's nobody's ever gonna fully be with it. But if you know it deep down inside you, if your why is strong enough, and if your purpose is so strong that nothing's gonna deter you from it, it's just very easy to stick to it, and every day just figure out something that could get you one step closer. And as long as each day you're doing that, I don't think it's gonna be too hard to see it through.
Yeah, like taking it day by day. And also like that might be even fuel to get to where you need to go to tell everyone like, look, you see, I did
Yeah, there were definitely. I don't know
it.
if it's the healthiest, but they're definitely like I kept a list mentally of like people who doubted it, and I don't know where the list went. I kind of by the time I made it, I was so happy. I think I
Can't see the haters
forgot
from
all
here.
exactly. So, but definitely use it for certain moments. You could definitely use that as fuel.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. I want to ask like because this was very like watching you on TV, I was wondering, um, especially like since your motive for doing this was the what happened in Munich and like all those victims that unfortunately that happened. Was there any fear in that aspect of like being in Milan, which is like are obviously since October 7th happened and like all the anti-Semitism has really like taken its all-time high.
Yeah.
Were there any aspects of, like, fear going and waving the flag and, like, running through there, like, in the middle of so many people, you don't know who's
Right.
watching?
So, of course, it crossed your mind, and we have security with us uh, the whole time at the Olympics, and they did tell us to stay away from the ends, like we're because we're walking through the town in
To
Cortina.
stay in the middle.
Yeah, just stay in the
Was
middle.
it a wide, like
Not really. It's like an old European town, so the streets aren't that wide, but
I would be
yeah,
freaking out. You're,
yeah,
like, standing there and you look so small, like, on the screen, like, running around with this
right, just
huge
running.
flag.
Yeah, to me, it was just like it was just an opportunity to do the opposite, to show that uh, I have no fear basically, and it's surprising people want to be a part of it when you are proud like that. And
Mhm.
I realized so many people would be on my side if something would happen, and just the reaction, like I could tell people were just felt the energy from what I was doing, like how enthusiastic I was carrying the flag. And if anything, I would say besides the Italians and the Jamaicans, maybe because they're very popular, it felt like we had like the loudest or the most enthusiasm for us.
Wow,
Like
that's
just
cool.
people yelling. It was a Friday night, and people were yelling Shabbat Shalom. Clearly
Aw,
not Jewish. They just wanted to get my attention. I'm sure they have Jewish friends or something, and
that's cool.
begging for Israel pins and the other like stuff we were running around with, like the little gadgets. So I
That's
thought
so
that
cool.
was actually cool to see.
It's a huge testament to, like, your emunah, like, your faith, because I feel like a lot of times people think you have to kind of, like, hide and be scared and whatever, like, hide away from all these, like, people that hate you, but
hmm
it actually has, like, the opposite effect when you're like you said, like, when you wear it, like, on your sleeve and you're proud of it, like, people, like, will respect you more than trying to, like, hide your identity. Like, in terms of Jewish history, like, hiding it has never gotten us anywhere, and that's
Right.
usually what's been, like, the first step to our detriment is, like, trying to blend in and trying to, like, be like everyone else and say, like, "Oh, no, like, I'm not actually that Jewish," like,
Right.
but the second you're like, if you really believe that, like, God is, like, the ruler of the world and, controls, like, how what happens to you, then you do what you can, you get the security team. I'm not saying, like, go out there, like,
Yeah.
and
Be
just, like, be
smart.
stupid. You have like, God Judaism really believes in everyone, like, doing their part. It's not like a religion where you just gotta sit home and, like, expect miracles to happen to you, but you
Right.
gotta do your part, do everything that you can, but there's certain things that you can't control, but you can't, like, stop living your life because of those outside things. Like you got to put
Exactly.
that control into God and be like, I did everything I can. I got my security team.
Yeah, then you just have faith, and yeah, just if the stronger you're perceived, the less people are gonna mess with you. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I really
once
feel like
yeah.
that's our biggest strength. Is like if we're proud and even like when it comes to like our serious enemies, like when they see us like fighting with each other and like hiding and blending in and whatever, that's like what they use to like take advantage and like take over. But when we're
Yeah,
standing strong, like that's literally the scariest thing.
exactly. It's even like a sports team. If you're playing basketball, the other team's fighting with each other, you're like, all right, let's go. It's time to
Yeah.
attack. So it's the same thing
It's a
with
good
us.
analogy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if they're like, we got this, like, yeah, you're like, oh shit, we
Right.
gotta we gotta like
Exactly.
start
Yeah.
focusing, get our game in. Whatever. I'm so not good at sports. I don't know
You're
any
doing
of the
great.
terms. Like, get our game in. What were like? Oh, did you ever like experience any anti-Semitism while being there?
At the Olympics,
Yeah.
personally, nothing directed at me.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, just honestly the opposite. Like a lot of people saying, "Oh, it would mean so much for my mom to
Oh,
get a pin from Israel," and like getting all this positive stuff.
that's so
So
awesome.
yeah, for me personally, very positive. I think for some of the other athletes, say they put a picture with me on social media, they're always surprised at the comments they'll get. And they're like, wow, I can't believe you deal with this all the time. Of course, online it was crazy. I think I was like
Yeah,
an
I mean,
anti
online
Semitic
people are a
meme.
lot more brave to like speak their mind and say
Yeah.
crazy things.
There was
So,
one guy who made this video that went pretty viral of me where it's me sliding and stuff, and it says when you put a nickel at the bottom, and it's like obviously because I'm
oh,
obviously Jewish with the star on my helmet,
honestly,
and
sometimes
I'm
you have to
like,
give it to them. They're funny
yeah. So
sometimes.
I ended up writing on it, and then I think he looked through my page, and then he like wrote a comment like, "Dude, hats off, honestly. Like all jokes aside, or all whatever Jewish stuff aside, it's very impressive what you did." So it's funny when yeah, when you do act strong, like even the craziest. This guy just ran like a giant anti-Semitic
Yeah,
meme account, and he was giving me props by the end. So I think is the important thing is to be like a positive ambassador, and people will at
100%.
least respect it. Obviously, I'm not going to change his mind about hating Jews, but
Exactly. Like
yeah,
I think also like if you can like take a joke, like also like if people are like using it in like a humorous way, it's not as serious as someone like really like giving threats. Like obviously it's like you don't want people doing that like either
yeah.
way, but like if you're able to just like take the joke and just like not like let it get under your skin and not like fight and fight and fight, like that's like really like makes them realize more than just telling them like you're wrong and like love Israel and try to convince them of like your beliefs.
Yelling at somebody to love, like when your parents like tell you to do something, like you're never gonna do it. And this is even more extreme because it's somebody you're already predisposed not to like, and they're like telling you how to think.
Yeah,
It's never gonna work
it's
that way.
never
You
gonna
just gotta
work.
be, you gotta just make it look so fun and appealing that people want to be a part of it.
Exactly, like lead by example more.
Yeah.
So wait, so your other like what do you mean your other the other athletes were surprised? Aren't they also Israeli?
Oh, so like my friend on the Austrian team, we took a selfie.
Oh, okay,
He
okay,
shared
gotcha.
it on his page, and then he was like, "Dude, like the comments I'm getting, the messages I'm getting are crazy. Like
It's honestly you
this is
gotta
your
welcome
life."
the hate. They're good for engagement.
Yeah, exactly. I was
Brings
like,
up
yeah,
the
I bet
likes.
that video will get a lot of views now.
Yeah, my most viewed posts are like the ones that have the most hate comments on them because
Exactly. Yeah, they blow up.
it's like once you get enough love, it comes with a lot of hate too.
Right.
So
It
gotta
means
just
you're doing
accept
something
that.
right. Yeah.
What were like any major takeaways that you've had from this experience that you want to leave us with?
Yeah. The main thing is just to be well, a couple things. One is to understand what your why is, what your mission is for anything, and I would say the biggest lesson is so many people make their why just making the Olympics. In my instance, in particular, but it could apply for anything you want to do in life. And it's this goal that happens and it ends. And I think for me, having a goal that went beyond just making the Olympics, it was to be a representative of what a strong Jew could do, and that's something I could keep doing now. And even if I didn't make the Olympics, it's something I could have kept doing. I think it's been very helpful in sort of for my on the mental side of things. So many people have that down after the Olympics, and for me, it's just continuing the high and going into the next phase of life. So I would say to just have a really strong purpose, something that you could take with you the rest of your life, not just something you could accomplish and then look around and be like, now what? That would be the main takeaway from all of this, and of course, being proud of where you come from and who you are.
I love that. Do you think that this experience had any effect on like your like on you religiously, like your observance and stuff?
Yeah. So one example would be this year. I just told myself I was going to wrap tefillin every day during the season,
Wow.
and yeah, partly from a religious standpoint and just connecting with Hashem and just getting any good blessings that could come from that. and also just as an opportunity to sort of ground myself every day and be present in the moment. It's just a great chance to put your phone away, and even if you do it quickly, 3 minutes, you're still just engaging with yourself, and you're not on your phone, and you're not talking to anyone, you're not distracted. And I thought, yeah, having that routine was such a good example of what connection could do for you.
That's so cool. Yeah, for sure. Oh, that's 3 minutes less that you're on your phone, so that's great.
Exactly, it's a win.
Is was there any, like, moments that you felt like, "Oh, that was God," like, on the field, like, whatever, like, training that you like, really felt like that, like, God was with you,
uh
that you can pinpoint?
yeah, it was just honestly every run, just surviving this whole career and without any major injuries, I would say that was it. I mean, I think about some of the races. There's so many moments. Like my very first qualifying race this year, something happened. My helmet strap got stuck, and I couldn't get the strap on. You have 30 seconds to go once it's
Oh
your
my
turn,
god.
and I just couldn't get it in. And
Like,
what
you
it,
couldn't clip it?
exactly? I couldn't clip it.
Oh
And
my
in my
god.
head, it's getting down 10 seconds. I'm like, do I just go with the unclipped helmets, the
No.
Olympics, everything? And then
Wait, this was at the Olympics that this
this is in the
happened?
first qualifying race. We
Oh
had
my
7
god, Jared.
races, and the coach from Spain, who like he has an athlete competing against me, he yells out like timeout, safety timeouts. He calls a timeout. I didn't know about this rule. My coach didn't know about this rule, but apparently a new rule was instituted like a month before that, where if there's a major safety issue, it's the one instance where you could call timeout
I would
and
hope,
reset the
like
clock. Yeah, you would think, but it didn't exist till then. And like that was one moment
wow,
where I
that
was
was, like, the
like,
only time you've ever had, like, a malfunction like that?
it's the only time that ever happened to me.
Wow.
And for it to happen then and to have this rule in place ready for me that I didn't even know about, that was a moment where I was like, yeah,
Thank
God's
you.
definitely looking out for me. Like, because yeah, what are the odds that that
That
all
is
came together?
crazy.
Yeah,
Wow, okay, that's a cool one.
yeah.
Was this, like, a thing for Israel before, like, to compete in this in skeleton?
So Israel competed in skeleton in 2018.
Okay.
AJ Edelman was
Oh, right, that
representing
guy that you
us.
said.
Yeah, who he was competing with me in bobsled this time. Uh, Winter sports. I think this was tied for our biggest delegation. We came with 10 athletes, which was cool to see. And hopefully, I don't know if I'll be part of the next delegation.
Would you continue doing it?
Somebody would have to pay me a lot of money as a
To
sponsor.
continue?
Yeah, it's just so hard, and I'll be 39. Hopefully, though, I inspired the next
The
group
next
of people to
generation.
make it, whether it's this Olympics or if we see it in 2034 in Salt Lake.
Mhm.
And it doesn't have to be skeleton; it could be any sport. But hopefully, I inspired somebody to pick up something they're passionate about and
For sure, I hope so.
be there for representing Israel.
Would you ever consider, like, coaching, like, just as a side thing, like, for fun?
Not full time, but
Like,
if the
would that even be fun for you?
no, so I would do it. It would have to fall in line like if there was somebody who I felt like really represented the same mission that I was trying to pursue, and
Got
they
you,
were
got
doing it
you.
right. I would come and support them,
Okay, that
but
makes
not as
sense.
like a job or something. No.
Yeah, so what are
Yeah.
the next steps for you?
The next steps are still to continue to keep inspiring the next generation, especially, and even adults, to just make everybody want to be a proud and strong Jew.
Amazing, I love that. Are you gonna go back to, like, doing law?
Uh, yeah, when I have time. I mean, I still do a little on the side, and I'm finishing some stuff for clients that I had to put on hold for like 6 months.
Yeah.
But as far as a full time practice, I'll have to see. I don't know if that's where my mission's calling me to be
Yeah,
like, working in a law office doing that stuff. I think I'm
you
looking
gotta do what
for,
makes you happy.
yeah, exactly. So right now, just, yeah, going around meeting tons of people, talking to them about my experience, and we'll see what comes of it.
Amazing, I love that. What's, one last message you wanna leave us with for when it comes to, like, pursuing your dreams?
Yeah, I would say don't let anything stop you. Uh, if you're, if you have a good mission and you trust in yourself and have faith in God and trust the people around you and surround yourself with the right people who believe in that mission, you'll definitely succeed. If not in that mission directly, then in the next thing. Like we talked about, these things happen. Like my track, for example, it seems like a setback or a failure, and it's just leading you to the next thing. So just know it's coming.
Yeah, 100%. No, Jared, you're like a living, breathing example of what it means to like not give up. Like I feel like every book I've ever read, like in school, is like that was like the message, like don't give up, and it was like so generic when like
Yeah.
I got sick of that like message. But when you spoke, I was just like, yeah, seriously, like never give up. Like, and I'm like, like when it comes to like my job or like the average person's life, it's like like compared to like what you were able to accomplish in such a like in like 10 years is still a short amount of time. Like it's not like you've dedicated your whole life to doing this and you
Right.
still were able to accomplish your dreams of like perform like to go and compete for Israel. And you've had so many setbacks. We didn't even get to all of them, like not even close.
Be here all day.
So, I mean, it's crazy like that you didn't let any of those things get in the way of like what like you were very clear-headed and like I need to do this. I need to accomplish this and
Right.
you did. So, guys, let that be a lesson for you if you have a dream in mind. And you know, no dream is going to come at the cost like without a cost. There's always risks and costs and financial risks, physical risks, like things are always going to come in the way. And that's not to set you back. If you're saying like I give up at those stages, then you're probably not ready for, you know, the success part of it too, because, you know, that also comes with costs and
Exactly.
whatever.
That's
So
what made it all worth it. If I was just a prodigy and I stepped on the ice and the next year, it happens in bobsled a lot because the guys in the back, if you're just a fast, strong person, you could be at the Olympics 4 months after you ever start the
wow.
sport. And for me, that like the glory for them just seems so minimal compared to somebody like in my position or some of my other competitors who just had to like
And everything against
really
you,
go
yeah.
through everything just to make it, and that's the payoff is always better when the path to get there is tougher.
For sure. That's like the true meaning and fulfillment is like not just like getting something handed to you, but to really like work for it and
Earn it, yeah.
earn it. Yeah, for sure. I love that. Thank you so much, Jared, for being here.
Thanks for
This was
having me.
awesome.
Thank you so much for growing with us today. If you enjoyed this episode of Eve's Gardeners, share it, like it, comment, subscribe, whatever else there is. I would seriously appreciate it. And if you want to stay up to date with new episodes that are coming out, follow at Eve's Gardeners on Instagram and TikTok. I cannot wait to hang out in the garden again next week. Bye.